Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa salamun ala al-mursaleen. Last week we discussed the importance of Tawheed, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repeatedly throughout the Quran emphasizes His oneness. And the Quran, أَمَّنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, Allah asks insan, O insan, who created the heavens and the earth? The Quran asks, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ, who is that answers a person in difficulty when he calls out to him? Who is the one that placed a barrier between two seas? Who placed the mountains on the earth? So Allah Ta'ala invites insaniyat towards believing in one Allah. And Allah Ta'ala gives many evidences of His oneness. And then the Quran says, بَلْ هُمْ قَوْمٌ يَعْدِلُونَ. Even after all of these evidences, insaniyat, بَلْ هُمْ قَوْمٌ يَعْدِلُونَ. Insaniyat still makes partners with Allah. How can insan, after recognizing Allah is the creator, Allah is the sustainer, Allah Ta'ala is the one that gives life and death, بَلْ هُمْ قَوْمٌ يَعْدِلُونَ, insan still turns to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we come to the topic of shirk. The Quran, when talking about shirk, mentions إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرْ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah Ta'ala will never forgive shirk, and Allah will forgive whatever He wants and whomever He wants besides that. When we look at kufr and shirk, my friends, both of them have been placed on the same pedestal by Sharia. When Allah talks about kufr, Allah says, لَمْ يَكُنِ اللَّهُ لِيَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ, that those who disbelieve in Allah, Allah Ta'ala will never forgive them. And when it comes to shirk, Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ, Allah Ta'ala will never forgive shirk. So there are two crimes which cannot be forgiven if a person passes away in those states. So the question is, what is shirk? Shirk is to believe that someone else besides Allah possesses qualities which makes him a God besides Allah, and hence worthy of worship. The scholars of Aqidah mention that shirk can take place in three things. Shirk fi zat, to believe that there is a God besides Allah. Like some of the faiths which are prevalent in the world today, they believe in more than one God. This is shirk fi zat. And this is the worst form of shirk. The second type of shirk, shirk fi sifat. Those sifat and qualities which solely belong to Allah, for a person to attribute them to other than Allah, this is shirk fi sifat. The Allah Ta'ala is muhit, encompassing of everything. Allah Ta'ala knows everything. To give these sifat to other than Allah, this will be shirk. And the third, shirk fil af'al. This is not as common, where a person believes that other than Allah has ta'theer, that other than Allah causes things to come into existence, other than Allah have an effect. Friends, a person can claim to be Muslim, yet he can fall into one of the categories of shirk, especially shirk with sifat. How many of us have made an effort to learn the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah? But an important point I want to make is there are some people who have practiced the word shirk and bid'ah so much that every action in front of them they label as shirk. And I've discussed this previously. Certain things like tawassul, ta'weez, these things according to the classical scholars of Ahlul Sunnah is not shirk. But there are some people who label everything as shirk. So it's very important that we maintain our beliefs in line with the ulama and the school of Ahlul Sunnah, namely the Asha'ira and Maturidiyya. Now some of you may think that I'm mentioning terms which you may have never heard before. Now this is an invite to you to come and learn Aqidah, to find an alim and learn Aqidah from him. If these terms are terms which you have heard for the first time in your lives, then my friends, this is a da'wat that we need to learn Aqidah. And on the other hand, we have people who are mutasahil when it comes to shirk. That shirk holds no importance to them. So both sides are extreme. And we must not be fast in passing a fatwa of shirk against someone. This is a job of the ulama. For example, doing sajda at graves. It's haram. Muttafaqun alayh. It's agreed upon that to do sajda on graves is haram. Now what it becomes shirk? It will become shirk when the person does sajda with the niyat of ibadah. It's haram, even when done out of respect. But it becomes shirk when a person does it out of ibadah. So what comes to play here? Intention. So it's important that we don't throw around shirk and bid'ah at every given opportunity.